Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought we would have a look at the winter event vehicles that are coming in, so we'll do some videos having a look at them in game. With the major updates added superiority, so came all of the winter event vehicles and the bells and whistles setting up for the festive event, which will be starting on the 20th. The first vehicle we're having a look at is the Mirage 2000C-S4. This is incredibly similar to the other Mirage 2000, so if you have had experience with the Mirages, you will pretty much know how this thing plays. It has access to the Snagma M53P2 engine. It also has fuel tanks all over the thing, basically meaning that it can support at least some time in the air. You also have the two 30mm Defers, which are definitely not as strong as stuff like the Vulcan, but do a job, and also have 250 rounds of ammunition. You have a big old radar in the front, the 2000C-S4 RDI. It has a lot of capabilities to it, which is super nice and generally will feel pretty good on the vehicle. And then also you have the pilot, which has access to a bunch of different systems too, whether it's the cannon systems, rockets, or bombs at the end of the day. So you can see, as I said, it's incredibly similar to the standard Mirage. It is a rank 8 and also a battle rating 11.7, so it will only be good at researching rank 7 and 8, which is not really what you want from these types of vehicles. Instead, it would be much better if it was rank 7, so at least it would be more efficient at researching rank 6, 7, and also 8. But I suppose people see bigger equals better. There's no armor on this thing, but one thing I do want to note is it does have a beautiful skin. It has this Ile-de-France skin, which is separate to the unique camouflage you can grind during the event for this vehicle. So just to let you know that this does exist and will also be coming in. So, what's the key thing about this Mirage, since its flight characteristics are going to be basically the same? Well, first of all, its countermeasures. It only has 54 of them. It does obviously get them default, which is quite nice, and also you have all the standard ones, but only 54 is a little bit rough, especially for a vehicle that's going to be seeing top BR gameplay. And also, it does have some nice weapon selections, and also the NVDs on it, which will work well. But the actual amount of things you can bring is absolutely tiny at the moment. So, 2 Magic 2s and 2 530Ds. That's going to be your main armament in this thing. At least you get Magic 1s as a stock setup, so that's at least kind of nice. But really, like that's what you're going to get at this BR. You're going to get 2 530Ds with a pretty decent powerful radar, and then also you're going to get the 2 Magic 2s, and then a bunch of bombs, the 250 kilo ones, whether they be drag or whether they be standard. You obviously have the drop tank in the center, and then of course the snebs, but even the snebs you only get 72 of them, which isn't very good. So as a general vehicle, what you're looking at here is one which will have fantastic flight characteristics, but is going to struggle in terms of its actual overall armament. The full tank is 34, but obviously you can bring drop tanks too, which is quite nice. And yeah, it's basically just a standard Mirage 2000. If you've never played the Mirage 2000, it flies incredibly well, it feels really nice, and all of those wonderful things. Usually the issue with a vehicle like this is that it is limited in terms of its weaponry, and right now this one is kind of the same. You basically have the same weapon systems as something like a Mirage 3E, apart from of course the Magic 2s instead of the 1s, and the difference is of course the semi-actives and their general usefulness. The good old Magics do slave to the radar, which is quite nice if you need them to, but these are just the Magic 1s right now. And maneuverability wise, as we've talked about in the past, the Mirages with their delta wing design do very much throw themselves around the air. It just completely sucks that this vehicle doesn't really have a lot of ground ordnance on it, and also doesn't really have anything to make it really special compared to the other ones. This is a quick fix, I suppose, or a quick gallop to be able to get access to one of these types of vehicles if you want to. The RWR works pretty well. You know, it's a pretty modern one, giving you a lot of different capabilities. It is of course Mac capable, and the maneuverability will make it a lot of fun. But usually for these types of vehicles, a multi-role is something that's a bit more important, because you want to be able to use it in different settings. That's not what's going to happen with this. Instead, what you're going to get is something which is going to be just kind of for air, just with the missiles themselves, and in order to make it usable, you will have to research all of the different things. Whether you want to use the 530Ds, which are very powerful, and also, you know, the radar on this is good enough to be able to use them effectively, or whether you want to use the Magic 2s in a kind of similar role because of, you know, the air all aspect nature of them. I do worry for people who are grinding this thing, because obviously you have the other reward of the J9, but if this is the only, you know, high tier reward for this year, I know a lot of people have been asking for jet fighters to be able to, you know, use them and be able to fly around and kind of dogfight with them. But is really what you want a just copy of another aircraft? Wouldn't you want something kind of interesting? What if they decided that the MiG-25 was one of those that they wanted to chuck in, or anything like that? It does of course have the gun lead, which is really nice, that you can see here. So if you are playing sim, at least you have that set up. The cockpit itself is very good. It gives you a lot of information, and the vehicle itself will be completely fine. Like, it will work and it will do well. A lot of these French vehicles are very much underappreciated, mainly because of the fact that people underestimate them a lot. But the Mirage 2000s, the Mirage 3s, the Mirage 5, all of these vehicles are good, and also at the same time have pretty good armaments on top of them to be able to take out enemies around the place. I just wish it had more of a capability to do other things. I also don't really like, once again, this idea of high-tier event vehicles, this one being of course the highest echelon. I would much prefer it to have been some kind of mid-tier premium CAS vehicle or air superiority vehicle. That P-59, the navalized version, has been sat in the files for the longest time and nothing's been going on with it. But yeah, I suppose it's time for another Mirage, just to kind of add to the list of Mirage 2000s that we have in the game, which, you know, are around the place. I suppose in general, one of the things they do like doing is they do like adding in event vehicles, which are 4 nations where they've just added a banger vehicle in, and this will, I suppose, be able in a way to grind for the Mirage 4000. But it's not going to be a fun time. It's not going to be something that's incredibly enjoyable. Instead, it's just going to be something that's going to be a bit of a pain. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Juan the Panda, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, Bareen, Peter Grayling, Alan Hacker, Sem Alslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R., and also Lafouche for supporting the channel.